I'm so fucking free right now. It's like I'm a dog or something. Welcome to the Jacob Wayne Show. I am your Jacob Wayne, and with me back in Utah is the lovely, splendid, sexy, sensual Kellen Givens. How you doing, sir?
Ooh, I'm doing well. Oh, nice to see you in your study.
Yeah,
It's looking very regal in there.
I figured I'd just leave it on. This was from
Yeah.
our last one, and it's not too shabby.
It's fun to hang out in there, It's
Yeah.
always nice.
While I did enjoy having you right next to me, it was not the most ideal setting for us to both do a podcast. I feel like we were shoulder to shoulder looking at the same screen. And it's kind of like I'm talking to the side of me, but I'm talking here.
Yep.
We'll have to set up the couch thing or something and figure that all out the next time you visit. But we didn't have much time.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's a lot of that kind of stuff to get into, and that'll probably be most of today's episode. So first things first, what you sipping on?
Ooh.
Doing water.
Nice.
Trying to be a good boy. It's a Monday.
Well, I'm not. I got a Ketos double IPA. Can't remember if I had this one. Yeah, Ketos, which means thanks in Finnish.
Oh, so not like keto.
No,
I was like,
not like the diet.
That's weird.
It's KIIITOS. That's it.
Okay. So this says I don't think beer is even capable of being keto, no matter what you do to it.
I brewed it with bacon fat. It is a delicious beer though. That's a good another Salt Lake brewery that's pretty new and just kicking ass. All their beers I've had are awesome.
So it's ketos.
Yeah. They have a coconut stout that a lot of people like, and they have a coffee cream ale that's they're one of their flagships. It won an award in an international beer competition, which is unheard of for a beer from Utah because it was brewed I think they brewed it back when the alcohol percentage was lower and it was a Utah beer. Usually Utah beers don't win international because they're just not people like the boozy flavor. They like the higher alcohol taste. About a 5% beer tastes different. So
yeah,
but that one won in spite. It's delicious. I recommend it.
How about you break that down? Since the Jacob Wayne Show is an international show, many international listeners. What exact, in a quick summation, what is the Utah alcohol percentage thing and what does it become? I haven't kept up.
Well, so yeah, when you lived here and until a couple of years ago, it was
that would have been 2000, very beginning of 2013 is when I moved out.
Wow,
Almost
that's crazy.
10 years.
Yeah, that's nuts. Seems like only yesterday.
Yeah, our album is almost 10 years. We almost have a 10-year anniversary.
Oh shit.
We'll get into that. Music is later. Anyway, the beer.
It's aged nicely. 3.2% was what it was back in the day, and it got changed a couple of years ago. Now, in the exact same session, you're thinking, wow, Utah made progress on an alcohol law? Oh, no. They raised the percentage to 5% a couple of years ago, but then they lowered the DUI limit to 0.05. So effectively undoing what they did. Like now that you can drink, in fact, you don't want to drink a five. You want a Utah beer now, so you don't go over the DUI limit.
Yeah, like at a restaurant or whatever, and
yeah, so they pretty much were like, well, you can have the full strength beer, you just can't drink it at a restaurant now without being scared of getting a DUI, which is so stupid because even the .08 isn't really, isn't bad enough to not be able to drive.
I shit .08.
Exactly.
And I haven't drank for a few days.
I'll unicycle backwards on .08, and I don't even know how to unicycle.
Exactly. But that also that for those listening that don't know, in Utah, you can still have the state-run liquor store, which is never open on holidays, never on a Sunday. Maybe that's changed.
Nope.
But all right. So you can go get your vodkas, your rum, higher percentage beers. But basically, if you're at any store, gas station, whatever, it's 5% now.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, when I was in my youth, in my 20s, it was like, yeah, you just get drunk off of 3% beer, which takes forever. So then it just makes you fat. And then you're fat and want to get more drunk because this shit isn't working well enough and it's a Sunday. So then you drive to Idaho unsafely to go get real beer and come back, and you're giving business to another state.
Yeah.
It's
and they love it.
Stupid. Anyway,
we pay, like, Logan probably pays for like half of Idaho's like school system, like for real, between the beer and the lottery tickets.
Yeah. And I'm kind of in a cantankerous mood right now. That's all kind of non-podcasty stuff, but yeah, sorry for flying off the handle, everybody. But what's that other fucking stupid thing? Is the Zion's curtain or whatever? You might be able to break that down better than me.
They did get rid of that too, but yeah, there was a law, and they called the Zion curtain that you couldn't make drinks in front of people. Like, drinks had to be made in secret, and the bartender could even do it as long as there was a little thing. Yeah, you could see the top half of him. You just can't see his hands making the drink, because they were like, if kids see him like pouring drinks, they're gonna want one.
They'll think it's candy. And how would you possibly talk to your kids about that? Or how would you possibly talk to your kids about anything other than fucking the Book of Mormon?
Exactly. You don't.
It's called and once again, for those that don't know, the Zion's curtain, you're like, they said iron wrong. It's like, no, it's just them saying, yes, this is religious.
Exactly. And who says that kids are like, they're trying to learn the kids, they make all these fancy drinks that look all pretty, and I'm like, I like pretty colors. I like a fancy blue drink now and then.
Just a giant badass child.
Baby.
Where I want some colorful alcohol. Where
I want the one that looks like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's a modification of a David Tell joke. He's just like, sir, you look like a gigantic baby. So I was like, where I want some pussy. Where bring on the pussy.
Oh, Dave.
Well, that leads us into food.
Oh, the food.
Where we left off, I think we had one more day of you visiting here.
Yep.
So we went to a new restaurant for me too here in Fort Collins called Austin's. And we kind of did our little Bandsgiving. It was Shockey, who's guitar player, backup singer in Gamma Pa, and then Kellen, who you have before you, guitar player in Vakoshka. So it's kind of like all the musician, not all of them, but some of the musician buddies that I've played with over the years. And we had some amazing food. I got the bison steak, basically, with some garlicky mashers. I don't even think they called them mashed potatoes or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he was insistent on calling them mashers.
Yeah. And then a lovely piece of key lime pie.
Oh yeah.
We had your Brussels sprouts that had like slices of apple and cheese and nuts and stuff on it.
Those were wonderful.
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got the it was a special for the night. It was like a tenderloin roast, some kind of steak roast, sliced up, and it had like a red wine sauce on it and
Mm-hmm.
some crispy onion straws, and it was quite delicious, and the garlic mashers on the side. But I got one of them big skillet cookies for dessert with a scoop of ice cream on it, which I haven't had one of those in a long time. There's a
Yeah,
place here that had them, and they're they're good.
had that caramel drizzle.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
ridiculous.
man. Shockey had like rotisserie chicken and lamb, not lamb, ribs,
Yeah,
garlic mashers too, I think.
yeah,
And
it looked
he
good.
ain't a big boy like you and I, so he's like, oh, dessert, oh my. But we made him have bites anyways, like we shared all
Yep.
these little bites and such. So I gotta say, it was a pretty solid meal.
It was
Um,
tasty.
then I had a little bit of a day of work that was I wasn't looking forward to it. The day that was next, which was Wednesday. What did you do that Wednesday?
Oh God, that was so. I woke up real early. I went down
Mm-hmm.
to Denver from your place and picked up my girlfriend at the airport.
Hell yeah.
Um, which was it's always an interesting drive. And then we drove up to Cheyenne, Wyoming, which is only like it's really not far, not too bad, like an hour up, you know, pretty
Mm-hmm.
quick little drive. We went and met up with her grandparents and uh, some other family, and we all caravanned up to South Dakota. So I mostly just drove that day. But when we did get up to South Dakota, we had their family spaghetti with meatballs, which was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it before. They got their little family recipe going on. It's quite bomb.
Is it all secret recipe, or is there a particular thing they do?
Apparently, the secret is a little brown sugar. That's what everybody was saying.
Oh, that's something I'll get into in just a second.
So
Um, that reminds me, oddly enough,
nice.
I probably would have even forgot to bring it up. But just backtrack a little bit. Was it easy enough getting to the Denver airport? More often than
Yeah,
not, we kind of go down there. It can kind of be a bit of a thing.
it wasn't. I borrowed my sister's car that has built-in GPS, so I just threw it in there and it was
Seemed to
easy to
work out.
follow. And I also just didn't care and took toll roads, so I was like, I'll pay it, whatever. So
And you were able to avoid all the phallic symbolism and the devil worshiping, including the devil horse.
man, I didn't even see that thing. I must have not been paying attention. I must have been looking too close at the thing. I did
I,
not
th-
even notice any such things.
I think coming from Fort Collins, you can avoid that. The Bronco, the
Uh
I can't remember what they call him, Satan horse or something like that. Oh yeah, they did a video, or they played a video of this Christian dude on YMH, your mom's house, where it's just this old man. He has to be in Colorado,
yeah.
and he always breaks down how the Denver airport is like riddled with phallic symbols and her
Oh yeah.
worshiping the devil, and it's just like, I'm like, sweet. Denver has the most metal airport out of the whole country.
Wow.
So just making sure you were safe on your journey there. You didn't get possessed or anything like that.
No, I
Karl
didn't.
Rove didn't
Not one
capture
penis.
you and sacrifice you in a ritual.
No, made it safely.
That's
Oh, and
good.
we went back and like basically went through Fort Collins. We
Mm-hmm.
had some time, so we went back and hit Lucille's on our way. So
Yeah.
I did sneak that in.
Awesome. I was wondering if you
So
guys got there.
yep.
Um, so that more food stuff. Uh, remind me the spaghetti brown sugary thing if we get moving on. But
Okay.
Thanksgiving, what did you do?
Oh, the pretty much the traditional meal, turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, green bean casserole. There was some yams, which I'm not a fan of, so I did not partake.
What's the
Uh,
yams?
and of course, the turkey gravy, which we don't usually do. My family usually buys just the canned gravy, which is fine. But they do it, get the drippings from the pan, do it legit, and that was quite delicious.
Yeah.
Much dessert going around. They had this weird mandarin salad. It was like mandarin oranges and like whipped cream kind of topping on this little thin crust, kind of like a graham crackery crust.
Yeah.
It was pretty tasty. One of those little weird fruit. They call it a salad, but it's totally no. There is fruit in it, I guess. But,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I've heard of that.
that was tasty. And then, of course, the next day we had the turkey noodle soup, which again, homemade noodles, which I've never had like that. They were like different than I was expecting, but I enjoyed them. They were pretty big hunks,
Yeah.
They were nice though.
No, I've never heard of turkey noodle soup, oddly enough. It sounds pretty great.
Oh yeah, it's the leftover. Use all that leftover turkey for something. And
see, I gotta do the turkey sandwiches.
I love those
mayo
too.
turkey. It was like, there you go.
You just get a giant turkey so you can have both.
Yeah.
And when I got home last night, we had another Thanksgiving. My family waited until last night to do ours, so I got 3 Thanksgivings, or 1 Bandsgiving and 2 Thanksgivings, whatever you want to call.
Yeah, mix and match.
But yeah, it was very
Did
nice.
they wait for you to get back?
Yeah,
That's awfully nice of them.
I left pretty early, so I got back just a little after 6, so I didn't have to wait too long.
This might sound like I'm calling out my family, and I don't mean it this way, but there's no chance in hell they would do that. I wonder if it's because I got kids, or I don't know. We all kind of, each individual offshoot of my family seems to kind of be comfortable doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, you missed it. Oh, it's too bad. There's some crackers in the cupboard if you're hungry.
I do think that would have been the case, but this year was just a little different with the timing of some stuff. So it was actually nicer to delay it a few days for everybody.
Sure.
Like Carl went on a nice backpacking trip. Instead of going after Thanksgiving dinner, he just went that morning, I think. So kind of just worked out for everybody in the end. Yeah.
So yeah, as I said a bit ago, I had a shitty day of work to do on Wednesday. And then got back, was kind of really tired from that, and then had band practice, and we still hadn't gotten any food or anything yet. Yep. So I was like, let's hit up Whole Foods before they're closed and all that stuff. And we were kind of discussing, like, do you want to get together for like cocktails or something or whatever, like Thanksgiving night? And I was like, no, I'm staying home. I'm relaxing. I mean, we had you as a visitor. It was great. But, that anytime you have a visitor, you kind of lose track of little things in your schedule that you normally do. And so that coupled with work, coupled with band practice, I was like, fuck that. And Shocky's like, oh no, I'll make a charcuterie board and come out. And so he went over to our drummer's house and did all that. I just stayed home and I cooked 5 turkey drumsticks and spruced up some mashed potatoes that I just bought from Whole Foods. Just like added like bits of garlic, oregano, a little bit of butter, and then just bought a key lime pie. And that's really all I need. What's your favorite dish for Thanksgiving?
Man, I love a turkey leg. I always try to snag a leg. And then I love the mashed potatoes and gravy. Those 2 right there really could do it for me.
Yeah. I thought about getting gravy, but I was already kind of penny pinching a little bit. So I was like, what are the bare essentials? And I got that. And it's like, oh yeah, turkey drumsticks. That's like all the dark meat and stuff. So this is great, and
yeah.
got a pretty great recipe for that. And for once again, YMH listeners, it might sound like I'm ripping off something they talked about, but it was true. And it occurred to me while I was cooking that I put the turkey drumsticks in the slow cooker. So they're cooking all day. So by the time Shockey gets home, he can have a little bit of the turkey and mashed potatoes. And I'm just sitting there eating it once he gets home. And I was like, you know what? Like, holy shit, I could like make this meal like next week. There's no reason you have to wait an entire year to have turkey and mashed potatoes.
Hell no.
I was just like, God, these fucking turkey drumsticks. It's a healthier meat. It's this awesome, like, kind of paprika centric flavoring on them. And I'm just like, God damn, you could eat like 2 turkey drumsticks like a week. Get some mashed potatoes. I was like, this is fucking good. Maybe you get the drumsticks with some rice, which I would imagine is maybe a little less, putting on the weight than mashed potatoes all the time. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, mashed potatoes usually has a bunch of butter and cream in it. So
yeah. So I mean, not all the time, but at least a turkey drumstick.
Hell yeah.
Even then, like a salad, I don't know. But anyways, that was my Thanksgiving, and I was like, I like a good green bean casserole. I like that kind of side stuff, but I really don't need it. Get my turkey, my mashed potatoes, some key lime pie. I'm satisfied. I'd settle for pumpkin, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was all in all one of the most low key Thanksgivings I've ever had, and I really enjoyed it. I might become a recluse. Just have Thanksgivings before Thanksgiving, and then on Thanksgiving, just everybody go away. I'm just doing it by myself. I'm very thankful for my me time.
There you go.
Even though Shockey was there. But there was a musical component to that Thanksgiving that we'll get into momentarily. But one last food thing, the brown sugar and the spaghetti or whatever. So as I was saying, I was penny pinching. So I was like kind of waiting around for a payday on a couple of things. And I'm like looking through the house for different ingredients, stuff I could make. And I had a can of chili. And it was like no beans, just the meat chili. And I was like, I wonder how that is with spaghetti. So I just did a quick Google. And apparently there's this thing called Cincinnati chili.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, what the hell's this? But apparently there's like over 200 chili huts or chili spots in Cincinnati where they do this dish. And what it is you get spaghetti, chili, and then shred a bunch of shredded, cheddar cheese on top of it, kind of like a chili cheese dog.
What the?
Minced onions. And I guess some people are like, you got to have oyster crackers like crumbled into it too. But what's interesting is with the chili, make sure that you throw in cinnamon and Worcestershire sauce. Westminster session some sauce. And paprika, chili powder. Like it's pretty like elaborate with the spices you throw in there. And one recipe I looked up, I don't know how authentic this is, but she threw like bits of chocolate in there.
That seems outlandish.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Didn't have onions, so I couldn't do little chopped up onions at the end. But I was like, I was even like a little on cinnamon, but it's like that goes into like Indian dishes, and I like those. So yeah, fuck it, throw in a little bit. As I'm researching it and making it, I'm reading all the comments on this one dude who like, YouTube tutorial. And apparently a very key element is that you put the spaghetti on the bottom then the chili on top, and then the shredded cheese on top of that, and you eat it like a casserole. And apparently, it makes a big difference.
Well, that's
but I was like,
interesting.
Fuck that. I'm gonna mix it all up. But as I read the comments, they're just like, you gotta eat it that way. We don't twist up the noodle in Cincinnati. This video sucks. Just like, I don't know if that's a Cincinnati voice or whatever, but all these people just talking shit about this poor guy trying to make hey, isn't this cool that Cincinnati makes this? They're like, no, fuck you. You gotta eat it like that. You don't twist it here in Cincinnati.
Noodles gotta be dry and milky.
It was hilarious how much like shit this guy was getting. Just like, what the fuck? You did the sauce all wrong. You're not supposed to put it in overnight. Like, but so yeah. So I'm not gonna say I made Cincinnati chili, but I made Cincinnati chili. So fuck you, Cincinnati. I made Fort Collins chili.
Get fucked. Yeah, that's their hot dog.
I'm finally taking a stand. We talk about politics and all kinds of stuff in this show, but fuck you, Cincinnati. Ooh. I make it better than you. Yeah, told you I was cantankerous this episode. And the Bengals suck, even though they got a really cool name and uniform.
True. Well, see, I'd only heard of the Cincinnati hot dog, which I had to like look up, and it is that. It's just covered in chili and cheddar cheese and onions. So there you go. You just put it on spaghetti. It's not even that original. They're like, we'll just do it to spaghetti instead of the hot dog. You wouldn't twist up a hot dog.
Right. What do they have anything in Cincinnati? Is this why they're so like
their only competition is Columbus? And so I mean, what are they doing?
Yeah. What else don't you like about Cincinnati? I think this is going to be the theme of the episode. We're going to call it Cincinnati chili. Call them out of the woodworks.
Cincinnati pit ticklers.
Yeah. Cincinnati Reds. What a stupid fucking team.
Yeah. I don't know anything else about Cincinnati, really.
It's Ohio, right?
Yep. That's what I was saying. Like they're trying to be better than Columbus. So yeah,
what other major cities are in Ohio?
That's like it.
Is it Cincinnati? Detroit, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio.
We got Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati are the top three. So Cleveland's big.
Oh, Cleveland's the bigger one.
But
Cleveland takes all the, but I mean, in terms of like, I know Cleveland.
Yeah, and then you get into Toledo, Akron, and Dayton. And after that, I don't really recognize anymore.
Dayton.
I've heard of Dayton.
Yeah, wow.
And Toledo. Not a buddy from Toledo. He thought my hair was neato.
So I guess we're getting into music now. I guess there's no new releases or anything like that, but let me look this up real quick. Shockey showed me a band I had heard of, but had never really sat and seriously listened to. But on Christmas morning, we had some coffee and we're just kind of hanging out. And he showed me this band called Molchat Doma. That is MOLCHAT space Doma, DOMA. They might not be based in Russia, but it is like Russian. Huh. So I think they're from Russia, but I guess I'm not totally 100% sure about that. Let's see if there's an about them real quick. Molchat Doma, translated as Houses Are Silent, founded in 2017 in Minsk, Belarus, stands at the intersection of post-punk, new wave, and synth pop, dark yet danceable, and with a heavy dose of goth ethos. So it's basically like that shoegazy new wave, like, but it's like totally got a Russian like sheen on it, and they're singing in Russian. and it's really groovy and cool. So shout out to them. The old chat. Did I do that right? I'm still memorizing it. Molchat Doma, not Dolchat. Molchat Doma. So what was also fun is that after Spotify was done playing one of their albums, it just started spewing other like new wave post-punk Russian stuff at us. It was like, this is like a genre of music that I'm like on board immediately with. That hasn't happened in a really long time.
Yeah.
Which I was already into like 80s stuff and whatever. And it's definitely heavy 80s stuff. Got a little bit of that synth wave flavor in there. But what I like about it is the guitar and drums. It's just that down strum ding 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 like 80s thing.
Hell yeah.
It's all about the texture and tone rather than complexity, really.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So I guess unless we wanted to get into any music stuff, that was pretty much music.
There was one little shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick one. Rest in peace to Stephen Sondheim, famous.
I've heard
Broadway,
the name.
Yeah, composer, lyricist.
Okay.
Some people say theater's most revered and influential composer lyricist of the last half of the 20th century. At least it's most popular. So he wrote like the lyrics to West Side Story. And he also did Sweeney Todd, Sunday in the Park with George, and Into the Woods.
Okay.
Which Into the Woods is one of my favorites.
That's kind of Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's kind of bad.
Maybe I'm thinking like grandmother's house. I don't know.
Yeah, it is that. It is kind of playing on that story a little bit. So yeah, he was just very influential. Apparently, he wasn't even like sick. He went to Thanksgiving dinner and then just was dead. So rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was 91.
Well, I think so. Yeah.
I think I just barely saw that because I was looking to see. Yeah. So that's a good long life.
Yeah.
That is. I feel like we maybe mentioned that before, but it is one of those things where you're just like, oh, who died? Oh my God, 54. Jeez. Oh. But then if you ever read it, it's like 91. You're like, all right. Like sad, but it's just like, well, fuck. It's coming for all of us. So that's actually a pretty good life. So
yeah, that's a good life. That's a good span.
Yeah. Thanksgiving dinner. Hopefully you got to have some.
Yeah, I think he went to dinner with a bunch of friends, then went home. Dinner, I think it was the next day. Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe he had too much dinner.
Does he have a wife?
I didn't really read too far into the rest of his life. I'm sure he does, but I didn't read his biography really.
Well, yeah. Hopefully he had somebody with him when all that went down.
Indeed.
Another musical item. I was checking to see if Shaka posted it because he was like, "You should talk about that in the podcast." I was like, "Oh, all right." Put it in and we have our little subsections of where we post stuff for each other. Little inside scoop
behind the scenes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, man, we didn't even do the intro song. Shame. We just got right into it. Have we missed any stingers yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, good. I'll pull that up in a little bit. Music though. Yeah, he apparently read an article or saw a video, so I can't delve into it too much, but it was an interesting concept, and I guess we'll kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll find a stinger for it. Because it's kind of philosophy too, a little bit. I should have had this up and ready, but as I said, this is cantankerous as cantankerous can be. It is not my day today, folks. Why don't you tell me a little something while I'm looking this up? Anything you want.
Anything?
Anything.
Anything. Well, I will go on a random tangent then. On the way home from Colorado,
There you go. Yeah.
I decided, I listened to some podcasts like I normally do. Did some
Mm-hmm.
great stuff. Finished up a series on the Atlanta Monster that was really good. That's a great
Hell yeah.
podcast.
Did that work?
Messed up. What?
I played it. I didn't know if it was playing yet.
Oh, you have to. I don't know if it's sharing to me yet.
Oh no! Do we have to go in and do all this now that it's recording? Fuck it. No stings this episode. Keep telling your story.
But yeah, so after I listened to my podcast, I decided to throw on the old Diablo Swing Orchestra albums. Listen from the first one through, and I was going to see if I got through all four of them. But man, just another shout out. Those guys just kick ass. If you haven't listened, their new one does kick ass, but don't forget their first ones. They're all so good, and everyone just gets steps it up. They take it to another level, even though the first level is awesome.
Yeah. What was the first one? It's I know the song Ball Rock Boogie is on there, but
the first one on. I can't remember what it's called.
I'll look it up while you're continuing.
Yeah, that one, and then Sing-alongs for the Damned and Delirious is the second one, which that was the first one I ever heard from them, and I do love that album so much.
The Butcher's Ballroom.
That's it.
And then Pandora's Pinata. And then I think my favorite title out of all their albums is Pacifisticuffs.
Oh yeah, see, I think I forgot about that one.
It was right before this most recent one.
I need to throw that one.
I think they switched the singer, but
I feel like the singers have changed, or either how they mix them, but they've had quite a few different singers, especially on this last one. Felt like quite the amount of different ones.
I'm gonna learn more and we'll discuss it. But early albums, they had the female singer that could do all the opera stuff, which very talented and cool. But that was probably like my least favorite element because I'm not that into opera. I think it was maybe it was Pandora's Pinata, but definitely on Pacifisticuffs, they have a different female singer who has more of that old-timey swing kind of thing going on, not as opera. And so I think she's a little more, she does like that weird D-ant word, kind of like,
see, I was thinking
I think it's her.
Yeah, I
they're just putting on like a voice.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
Because I've been kind of following their making of process. From what I understand, it's like 3 singers. It's the bassist, main band runner who sings. Then there's the female, and then I think occasionally they get this other dude to do it. But I don't know. Hey, feel free to write us, Diablo Swing Orchestra, because we know you're listening. So you can come on for an interview and we'll mix it up.
But yeah, they're just killer band.
Yeah. All right. So here's this musical thing. We'll just get in, and I just got some annoying news as you were telling me that. So
too bad.
Even more cantankerous. So the music thing is this group or folks or a couple of people or whatever through some kind of recording program or whatever bought up the rights to all the melodies that this program can come up with, all its variations, every single melody that it possibly can. Their idea behind that is that they own the rights to it, so then they make it open to everybody because they believe that the copyright laws in the country are a little fucked up. So then they bought up every possible melody that this program could make, so then people can use whatever they want. It's kind of odd. I wish I had more details.
Yeah, I don't know how they could. I don't know how melody isn't.
I think it's the melody when used by a specific plugin in the Fruity Loops. If it's like, I guess if you use their little guitar plugin, then no matter what that guitar thing shits out, I don't know.
Huh? Because I mean,
we'll have to do a follow up.
There's some things you can't copyright, really. Like I can't remember if melody is one or not, but maybe I think melody is. But I don't know, man. It's so hard to argue any of that in court. Like if Vanilla Ice did,
like if you're like,
lose,
it's got to be public domain by now. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're never gonna write a melody that hasn't been done before, probably. People been doing it.
If your whole song was based on that, could she sue? That's Susanna Vega.
Yeah, who knows?
If it was me doing a vocal, like, and that's where it's weird. Like if you did it on the dum 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 dum, but if it was me, just kind of could Susanna Vega be like, I'm suing your ass?
If that's all you did, yeah, because that is that song. But
the Vanilla Ice thing is I added in a
yeah.
That's how he got away with. And
you should get sued for that too. And he shouldn't have gotten away with Under Pressure.
Yeah. But I guess there was another thing on the radio too, where they were going over like how all these early DJs got sued for sampling from like rock bands and old R&B and soul stuff. And yeah, it is interesting because on one hand, this is why it's kind of philosophy. I definitely think copyright laws are a bit ridiculous in this country. But at the exact same time, yeah, you want intellectual property.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want people just taking your stuff, and yeah,
that's kind of the problem with some of those types of music, is they don't have to like learn how to do music because they just steal it. So they should be paying up for that. I think I get that. It's like Led Zeppelin ripping off numerous songs. That
what?
The more egregious thing.
And then Greta Van Fleet sucking at the teat of Led Zeppelin sucking at the teat.
Yeah,
exactly. Soul and Blues song.
I feel like on most of those cases, though, you can look at those bands that are complaining about another band stealing their song, and then you can go find where they stole their song from. And it might go back into like classical music even, but there's, like I said, there's only 12 notes. Like a good melody is going to be hard to come up with a new one that hasn't been done at some point. And if it's over 100 years old, it's public domain again, so you're good. It doesn't matter. But still, there's not that much. There's an amazing amount of music to be had with 12 notes, but it's not endless, you know.
Mm-hmm. We need to come up with some new notes.
Yeah. Well, if you you turned into the Headless Man when you did that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Turkish music has like 15 notes for every whole step of ours. So every 2 notes, there's 15 notes or something like that. So they got all them extra notes there.
That foreign music,
it hurts my ears.
Well, let's flip this around a little bit. So painting. If I want to paint Mickey Mouse, getting some scrum pleasure from Goofy, should I be allowed to do that?
Well, I don't know. I think if you're not selling it, totally. If you're trying to make money on it, I think they should be able to come for you. But if you're just doing it for fun, no.
What if I'm selling it for $50 in a dark alley?
Well, I think you're probably safe.
Yeah, they don't need to know about that $50.
Gotcha. Undercover Disney cops, bucko.
Get in the car, fuckhead.
Get him, Goof.
Gosh. I'm gonna beat you to death. Pluto is just a fucking drug dog.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, Donald, he's just exposing himself, not even wearing pants. No, he would be the one doing scrum stuff for Mickey Mouse with that gargly voice.
Oh yeah, big time. He already has. He's got like 3 different kinds of thrush.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, movies.
Yeah.
How much time we got left? I think we're just gonna do movies and call. No, let's do movies real quick, and I'll read one interesting thing, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Okay, so movies. We said we were gonna watch Time Bandits, but we ran out of time to like properly focus on that.
The bandits
so yeah, they stole our time, and we ended up watching Orgasmo, which is a pure classic.
Yeah.
Once again, we started this episode off with like some pretty Utah-centric stuff, and I feel like growing up in Utah, or if you know about Utah stuff, it makes Orgasmo like even better than it just already is.
There's some jokes just for us, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
One of my favorite is just like, where are you from, lady? You grew up in a cardboard box or something? No, I'm from Utah. Oh, I'm sorry. And yeah, growing up, I'll tell a fun little story real quick. First time I ever saw that, I was a young man back in the old days of 2000, must have been 2001, 2002 or something. So, you know, pornography and access to such things was not the same back then. And so we would have our movie channel subscriptions occasionally. So, you know, I just kind of peruse Cinemax or HBO for a little bit of titty. And I was like, Orgasmo, that's got to have titties in it. So I just put it in the old VCR and recorded it. And I'll come back to that later. Come back. I'm like, all right, let's check out this Orgasmo. There's going to be some good old titties in here. It's about this porn thing.
Menace.
And through the entire fucking movie, right before they're about to show titties, like a man's ass just like walks into the frame, like, and I remember as a young boy that was simply looking for titties, was like, damn it. And I was just like, this movie sucks. And it just like, I just was that fucking like one track mind. So yeah. Anyway, I had it on VHS and just like, ugh. But then me and my buddy, who maybe doesn't want to be tied up in my little porn escapade story, so I'll leave him nameless. But we used to watch a lot of movies, and I was like, we don't really have anything to watch. There's this Orgasmo movie. We can check that out, I guess. I was like, I don't know if it's very good. And he's just like, okay. And then we threw it on, and we're like, oh my God, this is like one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, wow, I was really a one-track mind the first time I checked it out. But yeah, so it's a pure classic. Trey Parker and Matt Stone of South Park fame did the Book of Mormon musical. I mean, it was one of their first movies. It's directed by Trey Parker, written by Trey Parker. It's an incredible movie.
It's fantastic.
Do you have a favorite part, favorite joke, bit?
Oh God, like the one you like, the dinosaur scene is good. Everything T-Rex. Matt Stone, T-Rex.
You want me on top?
Everything with Matt Stone.
That's some hot shit right there, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was basically Matt Stone's character the first time I watched it. Just like, oh, lit.
And I do love the, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going? That cracks me up.
Like, just get in there and fuck. It's like, I haven't slapped my ass yet. Move, fuck boy. I always liked the hamster stuff. It was like hamster style.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I never told you. It's like, what? It's like, I don't think I'm gonna do hamster style anymore. That's nice. It's just ridiculous. Then
stuff.
we watched another comedy from that era, which I do think is fascinating, but it hasn't aged as well. It's Freddy Got Fingered. It was by Tom Green and directed by Tom Green. And it's a wild fucking movie. Like, it's probably the most egregiously like violent and like sexual and weird like comedies ever. Have you seen anything that beats it? It
No,
beats it.
it being a horse
Or an elephant.
yeah, no, that's never in
Yeah,
quite that way. The way it does it, no.
right. Oh yeah,
Uh,
just like watching horses fuck and he's eating a sandwich and it's just like, we're a happy family, we're a happy family. It's just like, what the fuck is this? But what's funny is how much younger are you than me?
oh, 4 years.
That's kind of the difference, which is kind of, it's nuts, is that so 1999, how old were you?
9.
Yeah. So I was like about 13 and then heavily into like MTV stuff, my Limp
Yeah,
Bizkits, my Corns. And Tom Green was a big deal. They had that TRL show and the Bum Bum song got shot to number 1, beat out Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and Korn and all these like
yeah,
number 1 bands. And so me and my buddy DJ just thought it was like the funniest, like he was the greatest. And like he did precede like Jackass, all these other like dude goes into society and trolls people essentially. He had a public access TV show up in Canada that started his whole thing, and then MTV signed him on to do a TV show. But like the public access element was like very Wayne's World to me, and I thought that was cool. So I
yeah.
kind of worshiped the guy when I was that age. And so when I saw Freddy Got Fingered, it was just like the epitome of like, this is awesome, because it's like essentially when you break it all down, and there's a really great movie review on Red Letter Media where they watched Freddy Got Fingered and broke it all down. Way better than I'll be able to.
Huh.
So go check that out. But it is essentially like maybe one of the most like punk rock movies ever made, in the sense that, wow, Tom, you're so successful. Like you should have your own movie. And I think he even showed up in the movie Road Trip as like the weird roommate. He showed up in some other thing as like Drew Barrymore's boyfriend. I think it was like Charlie's Angels or something. So he had been in movies where he was the weird guy, but the movie was normal. So they're like, here's all this money, go make a movie. And he basically took all that money, which becomes sort of meta, because in the movie he gets $1 million and he just goes and spends it on stupid shit like, they're jewels, Betty, they're jewels.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I spent it on jewels, and then I spent it on the helicopter to go give her the jewels, and then I paid it for you to take this house and you take it to Pakistan, and there's my money. There's all my money. It's all gone. It's all gone. Easy come, easy go. And you're just like, that's exactly what he did with that fucking movie. And it's like, I kind of admire that. Some of the stuff is still pretty funny. The kid constantly getting smacked in the face.
Good bits.
There's some good bits, but there's also like
Lots of weird animal stuff.
Yeah, weird animal stuff. And like, holy shit, Tom Green, like I'm older now, like he's obnoxious.
Yeah, like Jockey said,
he's annoying as
I'm
shit.
too old.
He's annoying now. Oh no. And
yeah,
it's true.
yep.
And it's just like, I think there was some weird phase where like I like Tom Green and I even follow his Instagram. I think during COVID, he went on a road trip with his dog and would just do
nice.
Instagram live, and just he'd be out camping I'm like, oh, I'm in New Mexico today. And yeah, okay. Just like way more chill, relaxed, just doing stuff like that. But there's always just like, now I perceive him as like a guy that's like trying too hard, but I think it's attached to all that early stuff. So it's like he's just trying this new angle to get back to where he was. And I don't feel like he genuinely is doing that, but I don't know. I have a bit of that resistance built up where I'm like, nah, no. I know the real Tom Green. You're not really this zen. You're gonna freak out and jack off an elephant or something like that. Like, you're a wild man. You'll do anything for the dollar.
Yeah.
But that's what's so ironic about it, is because he also, did such a punk rock thing with the movie. So I don't know.
Indeed.
He's an interesting character, and we shouldn't forget about him. Maybe that's what it is. He started trying to do stand-up, and I was like, what are you gonna do? Fuck the microphone? Like, which I think he's tried to not be like that. So kudos.
Is this thing hard?
Oh, he just like starts blowing it. Oh man. Anyway, movies. That's movies, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I just in the hotel room in Denver, Tommy Boy was on, so we watched Tommy Boy.
It's pure classic.
Classic, good stuff.
That's another one that I think is a little dated. Some of that slapsticky 90s comedy is like, oh wow.
Well, Chris Farley alone
in the face, like, whoa! Like, just
when he's in the bathroom on the plane, just getting beat to shit by Ram. So it's just like, but if anybody's gonna do it, Chris Farley was one of the best.
No, he's one of the kings of physical comedy, as they say.
Yep.
But no, yeah, like the 90s, like Dumb and Dumber, Austin Powers, all that stuff. It was like farts, slapstick, pain. Like, get smacked with something, fart on something, pee joke.
Yep.
It's like, all right. I have gotten sick of the kind of the more modern, like Judd Apatow comedy, where they just, let's put a microphone on them and just let them riff. And then they just spew weird absurdities at each other, like that's how people actually talk. I'm like, I'm getting a little tired of that. So comedy needs some kind of new revolution. I don't know what. I'm excited to see what it is. Hopefully it's not just something I'm even less into.
Juggling.
Yeah, hilarious. It's gonna go hardcore into puns, and you're gonna be in bliss. And I'll be like,
national. God damn it.
Fuck. Someone say duck. Anyway, I showed you That's My Bush. That's another low-key Matt and Trey thing that a lot of people don't remember, because I think it was only like 6 episodes or maybe even 8 or whatever.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah, go check that out. At the very least, go listen to the theme song on YouTube.
Yep.
But
That's my bush.
One of these days, Laura, I'm gonna punch you in the face. Yeah. Because it is weird. When you first watch it, you're like, this laugh track.
Yeah.
But then you realize they're layering it in just to like completely mock sitcoms and how they're structured and are. You're like, oh, okay. But yeah, I remember first time I saw it, also a young man, I was just like, this isn't as good as South Park. What's going on here? And it was actually my same buddy DJ. He's like, no. Like, there's this little, there's a little fetus that survived an abortion. It's hilarious. Keep watching this. And I was like, oh, okay. Fuck. Oh, weird.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna read this one quick thing and we're gonna be done. This is our kind of weird news, but it's only weird to us.
Weird news.
Because of our American politics. Are you ready? This is about Swedish politics. I just came across this today. The headline is Sweden's first female leader quit last week after a few hours. She was just reelected. Before I continue reading, how do you feel about that headline? I'll read it one more time. Sweden's first female leader quit last week after a few hours. She was just reelected. Like, what?
Well, I don't know if she that was like her second term and then she quit, or if she quit and then came back and they were like, yeah, try again, elect again. They can't vote that quick. They can't there's a shit ton of people there.
Let me get into the nitty gritty. It looks like Sweden will soon have its first female prime minister. Blah, 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 blah. Magdalena Andersson, that's Anderson with two S's. It's a very Swedish thing, if I remember correctly, is a 54-year-old former finance minister who leads the Social Democratic Party, was reelected by a slim margin on Monday and will make history when she officially takes office on Tuesday. Here's what happened. Swedish lawmakers first elected Andersson last Wednesday, but she decided to step down after a budget defeat in parliament made a coalition partner quit. The government rejected its own budget proposal in favor of one presented by the opposition, which includes the right-wing populist Sweden Democrats. As the Associated Press reported, that prompted the Green Party to leave the two-party minority government. Andersson later said at a news conference that she did not want to lead a government where there may be grounds to question its legitimacy. I kind of want to soak that in. She didn't want to lead a government where there may be grounds to question its legitimacy. Let me read that in a different voice. I don't want to lead a government where there may be grounds to question its legitimacy. I just don't. Kind of just what? So the prime minister is expected by convention to resign if a coalition party leaves the government. Andersson also said she would still be interested in leading a social democratic one-party government, which that's kind of where I was like, so there's a minority government where they're made up of coalitions of the different parties. So she's open to being the leader if one party is the majority.
If her party is.
Yeah. Obviously. And so on Monday, she won her second election in less than a week. Of the 349-member Swedish parliament known as the Riksdag, that's Riksdag. Sounds a lot like another thing in history. I'm going to clarify. 101 members voted yes to Andersson. 173 voted no and 75 abstained. The country's constitution allows prime ministers to be appointed as long as a parliamentary majority, 175 people, does not vote against them. So it was a close one. Only they needed two more to keep her out.
Oh, wow.
So she told reporters after the vote that she's ready to take Sweden forward with a platform focused on welfare, climate change, and crime. And yeah, she also said, I don't see this as the start of 10 months. I see this as the start of 10 years. She told reporters at a news conference, according to the local. Her election is a huge milestone for one of the world's most gender equal countries, as the Sweden's official account noted on Twitter. Andersson was preceded in her job by 33 men.
Well,
so I know they got their issues and they got their problems, man, but I swear, dude, Sweden is the majority of my ancestry, my people, and I like the way they do things.
Indeed.
That's the democratic socialism that's not like the scary gulags and work internment camps. This is just we just have democracy with a bunch of different parties, and we got a lot of social welfare to take care of people.
And they're doing fine, and people are happy, and it's working.
Man,
imagine that.
And I'm going to resign. I don't know if this is going to work properly. If people don't believe me, I mean, how could I possibly lead?
Yeah,
it's like, man,
what's
America,
happened?
Freest country on the planet. Anyways, Today in history, I was gonna do a couple things real quick. Might as well toss them in.
Indeed.
The featured event, the United Nations resolution for the partition of Palestine. On this day in 1947, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution, not implemented, calling for the partition of Palestine into two separate states, an Arab and a Jewish one, that would retain an economic union. And that has gone perfectly ever since.
Wow. Just right on the money.
Yep, Europe came in, saw the problem, and were like, hey, I know how to fix this.
Bam.
Everybody's gonna get along after we do this. Yeah. 2001, George Harrison, formerly of the Beatles, died of cancer at the age of 58.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, so rest in peace to George Harrison. Oh, that is one last thing that I'll read, and we'll just skip the rest of the history stuff because I didn't review it before we started. But there is a funny Onion article headline that I posted on our Facebook page for the show. If you haven't gone and liked and subscribed to that, I think we throw up a lot of tasty memes and articles there, music videos. So if you don't want to just like and subscribe our YouTube channel and our podcast wherever you podcast, you can go on Facebook and like that page. But the Onion article was new Beatles doc gives man greater appreciation for how long 8 hours feels.
Yep.
And I love Beatles documentaries. Like I can totally like watch a shit ton of that stuff. But it is a little bit of like, wow, 8 more hours of Beatles stuff. Like, yeah, I think I'm good. I don't know if I need more. Maybe I'll wait a little bit. And like, I'm ready to do Beatles history again. But like, yeah, I'm tapped out. I don't need any more Beatles stuff. How do you feel about that?
If I read like most of the book that came out that was like this big, so I feel pretty good about my Beatles history knowledge too.
Just help.
And that's the thing. It is really interesting, but yeah, it's in the end I really enjoy like the latest of the albums, and that's all I listen to anymore. So
yeah,
well, maybe I'll get around to it someday though, like I said.
I think this recent documentary is about like the making of Let It Be, but I'm not totally sure. Maybe that was a different Beatles thing that came out recently. I feel like I don't know if this is the Peter Jackson directed one or like whatever. I don't know. Who is your favorite Beatle before we head out?
I like George.
Yeah, he's like, I think I like him better as a person, but I'm a John Lennon guy. I like John Lennon, even though he's kind of an asshole. Or was.
Yeah, does have some good tunes.
He's a complex character. Let's say
Indeed.
that. But you know one thing? John Lennon is at least way cooler than fucking Cincinnati.
True that.
Well, go fuck yourself, Cincinnati.
Well,
we'll see you next week.
See you then.
Ta-ta! Fuck you, Cincinnati. Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fakkoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in.